we're doing provisioning today. We're going to go into town, into Badass. I said I'd do a little video on how we do that. First things first, this morning we had breakfast, had a coffee to get motivated. We're not sure where we go and take the dinghy, but we will figure it out.
Anyway, we need to be able to take the cool bag in case we find cheese. That's all we're really hoping for, is to find some cheese.
Alright, we better get out of here. Take it over here. Pull us in, love. That's us, eh?
That's us.
We parked that dinghy up here. We saw another dinghy here, so the people from the other boat that's anchored near us. So we're just going to do what they did and walk up into town from here. I think this is a hotel dock here. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's the start of our days. We walked the main road into town. We'd read in our guidebook that it was about 2 kilometers. Along the way, a local guy stopped and said, "Where you go?" We said the pasar. Pasar is Indonesian for market. Once again, here we are on the back of a scooter. Seems to be our most popular way of transportation for provisioning, I think. What are your thoughts, Loz?
Yeah. It's always fun.
But he ended up taking us to a homewares store. This is one example of the language barrier that we face here in Indonesia.
Now we're out near the airport.
So we're in the middle of nowhere. Our scooter driver just took us here. And it's just a supermarket for like...
It's like homewares.
It's like a homewares
So
shop.
we'll have to walk back the other way.
I'm sure there's a local price and then a foreigner price, but it's still very cheap for us here. The markets here have such a good variety of local and imported produce. In some areas, the supermarkets will also stock everything you need, but you will save a lot of money shopping at the local market. You can find fresh seafood, meat and poultry, but it's best to get in early to beat the flies. The markets in Savu and Sumba had less of a variety due to how dry the areas were. We have found that the best markets were Badass and Lombok. I find it hard to stay calm and collected. Lauren, on the other hand, is the master at getting in and out without having to do much translating and overspending due to being a foreigner. On your Loz. So we found 2 kind gentlemen on scooters. We're going to pay them 15,000 rupiah each to take us to the markets and the supermarket, and then hopefully back to the boat. So there's 30,000 rupiah just there to get to the markets. And Lauren's just bought... How many carrots did you buy?
A kilo of carrots.
For how much?
For $1.50.
15,000 rupiah.
Yeah, 15,000 rupiah. Oh yeah, and I never want a kilo, but I always ask, I could pick up 3 carrots. I'm like, okay, I just want 3 carrots, berapa ini? And they say, okay, that's $1.50. And I'm like, cool. And then they'd give me a kilo, but I don't want a kilo, I just want 3.
That's one of the problems.
Okay, yeah, well, blue.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you can choose those, $2 a kilo.
Ah.
Yeah.
So we bought a big bag today. Usually we have like 5 or 6 bags and just carrying them around, but we bought one big bag today so that we can just jump on scooters.
So this is what we bought so far.
After scouring the market for everything we needed, it was time to get back on our Gojeks and head back to the boat. So I usually just carry a knife on me just because I'm a mad dog.
And it's actually going to come in handy because we have a Hessian sack wrapped around.
It's just gone right into the wheels there. So I'm going to have to try and cut it out because it won't come out.
And that is the perfect example of just the sheer amount of rubbish that's all through Indonesia, all the places we go. It's really sad.
So we've got it all back here, all the veggies and all the supermarket gear. We're going to get some water and some petrol for the outboard because we're going through that stuff a lot because we use the dinghy a lot. It's like a little car for getting around everywhere. We use more petrol in that than we do diesel, I reckon. What you want?
What you want? So once we're back at the boat after going to the Pasar, we usually rinse all of our produce just because it's sitting in gross water at the markets and there's all sorts of flies and animal flesh around. So we come back to the boat and we fill the sink and we soak it in a mix of apple cider vinegar and fresh water. So we'll do that now.
Usually we don't try and get these bags, but they just throw them at you. You've got no choice. They're like already, by the time you've, said tidak, 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 they've already got the stuff in the bag and they don't want it back.
Yeah, I know. We're pretty good though. Usually we get to them in time and tell them no, we don't want that, but today not so lucky. So we've got carrots. That's not good. I think in the black backpack.
Good idea, the back bag.
Alright.
Get so much stuff.
So we got rambutan. We won't need to rinse our rambutan, but oh man, rambutan is so good. Rambutan. So we got some good ones today because we got some the other day and they weren't very nice.
I still ate them.
Yeah. So we soaked the beans. Broccoli. Beans and broccoli go in. Carrots go in.
And do you let that soak or what do you?
I do, but I might do the spinach separately, and then once I let that soak for a little while, just so it does its most effective job. And I've also got some cucumbers that we got the other day. 7 cucumbers. I just said, I grabbed like 3 cucumbers. I was like, berapa ini? And she said, I don't know. Tiga, what's 55?
Oh, 50.
50, so 5,000. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, 5,000 for 50 cents for 3 cucumbers, that's fine. And then she gave me a kilo. Again, 7. She gave me 7, which was about a kilo. So
they don't like the half kilos.
No, it's like I'm always like, no, you can't just pick up what you want and say, okay, I just want 5 apples or 3 cucumbers. Everything's like in a kilo. So then I have to get my Google Translate app out and then figure out what's half. I never remember the word half. Do you remember even from today?
Oh,
there's an H in there, there's an S. So anyway, we let that soak for a while and then once I drain that out, then I will rinse the spinach. The spinach is really good here. In fact, the markets we went to today were pretty good and cheap. I think we probably spent maybe $12 on fresh produce. So that was our spinach, this big bag of spinach was 50 cents.
I thought it was 20 cents.
No, I think it was 5,000. Did she give me change? Whatever it was cheap. Our corns were 50 cents. 3 corn, 50 cents.
Cheap.
I can't remember what the broccoli was. I think it was a bit more expensive. You don't see much broccoli over here. You see lots of beans and carrots and corn. In conclusion, Sumbawa's markets in Baras, or in Sumbawa Besar, which is Big Sumbawa, the markets are really good, the quality of the produce is good, and it's cheap, very cheap, compared to elsewhere that we've been thus far in Indonesia. Yo! Thanks for watching, and we hope we provided some insight into our time provisioning in Sumbawa Besar. And hey, if you're planning on sailing Indonesia, hopefully you find this information helpful.
Join us next week as we finish off provisioning in Sumbawa Besar, our anchor gets stuck in Batas Harbour, and we start the journey to Potapadu.
If you want real-time updates on where we're at and what we're up to, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Check out our Patreon page for early access to weekly episodes.
And a big old shout out to our patrons, John and Mindy, Matt Harder, and the Rowe family. Thanks for making these videos possible, Blue Moonies.
Am I recording?
Yep.
So, this is how, on this boat, we cut chocolate to the millimetre.
We do, because I always
Because Lauren always gets the bigger bit. So, we need to make this all even, you know?
I think that's fair, that I should get the bigger bit.
So what we can do is we're going to measure this chocolate out, right? She's sitting at about 9.5 centimetres. And then your end product
Is I get the bigger one. Now,
you don't
put
want
them
to
up
get
against
your,
each other.
you don't want to get your
You know what we should do? Get
verniers.
No, we should get a
You
pair of
don't want
scales.
to vet measure. So here's about 2 inches.
That one's smaller, you can have that one.
And that's about 2 inches, same thing.
Show me though, I want that one.
They're the same, they're exactly the same.
This one's bigger, so I get it.
So, that's how, to the millimetre, even though I measured 2 inches. That's how we eat chocolate on this boat.
You know what we should do instead? Get a set of scales. Testing, are you working?